stretch of weather we're having. At least I don't know about you guys, but we did get a little bit of rain on Friday. That's nice. Let's go ahead and start with introductions. I'm Judy Camuso, Commissioner of Maine Fish and Wildlife and Chair of the committee. Pass it to you.
Okay, I'm Laura Graham, the Director of Land for Maine's Future.
Catherine Robbins Halstead, Public Member, Searsmont.
And Beth Schiller, Public Member, Bodenham.
Roger Burley, Public Member, Cliff Island.
Carl Wilson, Commissioner, Department of Marine Resources. Still have to remember that.
And I see Commissioner Beal is on. You want to introduce yourself, Commissioner?
Yes, good morning. Sorry, my computer decided to start updating just as I was about to log on. So I'll switch over to video in just a few minutes because I'm on my phone right now. But I'm Amanda Beal. I'm the Commissioner of the Department of Agriculture, Conservation, and Forestry.
Great, thank you. And we'll just go around the room here with staff.
Sure. Good morning. I'm Erin Lloyd. I'm Senior Planner for Land for Maine's Future. Just entering my third week of this job.
Thanks.
Welcome. Thank you.
Jason Muley, LMS staff.
Joe Anderson, LMS staff.
Great.
I'm Zoe Foster, Land Protection Coordinator at Great Works Regional Land Trust.
Tim Smith, Great Works Regional Land Trust.
Flora Jury, IMW.
Austin Donaghy, Harbor Master, Cushing, Maine.
I'm Danny Staples. I'm a past selectman of Cushing. I got this project started about 20 years ago. Lobster fishing.
Great.
Lobster fire.
Did you see that? Did you get that?
Oh, nope, sorry. I didn't see Mac. Sorry. Didn't mean to ignore you there, Mac. I can't actually see.
Yeah, no worries. Mac Hunter, from Public Member from Amherst, Maine, reporting in from Lubec today.
Thank you for joining us.
Wow.
All the way from the land of high tides.
And Julia Vigio is on screen also. Should be transcribing.
Okay, great. Are there any other board members or staff online that I can't see? I don't think so. Okay. So we are recording, just so folks know. And next, are we recording? Is it
Yes,
going?
I just, yeah.
Okay.
Joe's got it.
I think everybody should have had a chance to review the minutes. And if there are any edits and modifications to the minutes, if not, I take a motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
All right, all those in favor? All right, motion carries. Thank you. And we will turn it over to the LMS Director for fund balances.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so here is where we stand. It's a little different and the number I really want to focus you on is the CNR number up front. That one has changed a little bit since your handouts. That comes from an appraisal comes in lower, different things happen, and that number is going to be a little bit jumpy for a little while. But you can see in working farmland, we have no dollars available to spend at the moment. That is even with the advantage of the infusion of $173,985 from interest. And working waterfront, you can see what we have there for projects. The ones in the middle, those are what we can spend on projects. The others, but to understand, we have the remaining balances to cover set aside. So focusing on projects, that means we could do a working waterfront, and we expect to do a working waterfront in January with those funds. And water access, I'm learning, is almost always kind of the trailing program. It was like that last time. We have $1.2 million. That may go down if you decide to fund pushing water access, but that's where we stand right now. And then CNR, we have $922,000 to spend on projects. Ish. Yes. I spent a certain amount of time trying to reconcile exactly the inflows and outflows, and there's a $12,000 variance between what I think we have and what Advantage thinks we have, which probably doesn't change these numbers at all. It's probably just converting a thing that's earmarked asset to dispersed. So shouldn't have any effect on these numbers, but still, I want to stress the ish.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions?
I also want to say that I went ahead and put all remaining interest in CNR for now, so you could see the set aside, you could see the net value of all funds available. Even though we have not allocated that $361,981, we've only allocated the $2 million. Okay. Next slide. And here are the fund balance. Oh. You can't hear us, Julia? Or did we hear somebody else?
No, I can hear you.
Okay, great, thanks, okay. So these are the fund balances. This is without any encumbrances, any earmarks, any of the, so we don't have these monies to spend, but this is what is showing as available. And unlike before, I went ahead and added in the interest that we've got. I added it, so to the 30 million, I added the interest and removed the MOUs, the $700,000 worth of MOUs from each, for different projects. For example, we have an MOU with BPL for CNR for 200,000. So that 32,212,425 is the 30 million plus the 2 million some odd that's been added, less the 200,000 that was off the top when we first got these funds, this MOU that is not fully funded yet. It has not been dispersed. And similarly, working waterfront, there was a $300,000 MOU. We haven't added any interest to that. So instead of the 4 million, you see 3.7 million. And farmland, that was a 200,000. So that's the 4 million less the 200,000 plus the interest we've allocated. So I don't know if this is more helpful or more confusing. I was wanting to.
As long as you can keep
I
it
think-
straight, that's all that matters.
You think it's more confusing? Sorry.
This is the money that we had from the very beginning.
That's right.
So then how is it the balance is 13 million? when-
So the balance here, that's because it's not, that doesn't include all of our earmarks. We don't have that. That's just what's showing in the bank, right? This is
So
just
you have
snapshot.
about $12 million in projects underway.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. But this is this isn't the one that shows you what we have to spend. This is what's in the account right now that hasn't been spent. This is what's earning us our interest right now.
Okay.
Sorry, it sounds like I won't repeat this experiment. It's worse, anyway, so.
It might be easier if you go the other order.
Okay, yeah, I went back and forth on this, but yes, okay, yeah.
Would
Do
you
anybody
mind
want to
going-
see the other one?
Yeah, could you go to the previous slide?
Yeah, could you go back a slide? There you go.
So I'm trying to figure out where this plugs into
This
the
is,
next slide.
so this is with the benefit of all of our earmarks. So if you look at your handout from this handout, at current allocations, expenditures, this one with all the rainbow colors. Here you go, this one right here. This one right here. And you'll see that on the far right, you've got dispersed set-asides, we have remaining budgeted set-asides. This slide, just because we have 13 million in the bank, doesn't mean we have 13 million to spend. This slide, it shows you the impact of all those earmarks, all those projects you've agreed to fund that have not yet been, there's no money dispersed yet.
They haven't been paid out yet.
They haven't been paid out yet, that's right.
But
And it's
we've
not just
obligated
the
to pay them.
allocation costs, it's also the set-asides. All those are being, I don't want to say escrowed, but they're earmarked. And so this shows you the net of what you have to work with. The other shows you what's in the bank, just as if you walked up to an ATM, like how much money do I have in the bank? And you know that that's not really what you have to spend. So I went back and forth honestly on which one to put up first.
And
But
I think this is the bottom line for our
This is the bottom line.
conversations.
definitely, definitely.
And the 42 million is the accumulation of all the previous conversations.
Exactly. That number is 40 million plus $2,586,410 in interest that we have earned. That's much simpler to see, right? So, yeah. Yeah. Is that better? Excellent.
We'll ask the same question next time.
Yeah, totally. And if anybody has ideas for how, because I would love to make this more comprehensible. Okay, next slide, I think, next slide. Okay, here,
Oh,
I'm sorry, Barbara's not here. I know she was really excited to see all of this, but
Yeah.
here are all of the inflows. See, this is all the money over the years we've
no,
gotten.
this is good.
Yeah, this is new. This is new. I can do new things. And on the right side is that same amount of money, but you'll see the chart on the right only tracks the literal acquisition costs. It doesn't track the set asides. So out of 174 million, there's the total amount of outflows, and that's current right up to, this includes the 18,687,111 is in fact the current estimated value of all the projects that are in our hopper right now. That's not, supposing. Now, that doesn't mean they'll all close, but if they do, that's what that is. So all of that adds up to 157,675 that has been invested directly in the project purchase.
Could you describe you're looking at the table on the right?
Yes,
and
the table on the right. Yes.
First column is money that was received.
So yes, the first column is the money received, and it should match the other column over here. Yep, that's right. And some of these have, I don't know which of them right now, but at the time, some of those inputs, those revenues received, had sort of staggered requirements. Like if you got our 40 million, we didn't get 40 million all at once. We got 10 million the first year, and then we had the, so on. So that's built in. So those are the years. And the money added, those revenues added are sort of added in or sort of titrated in as it was, it's kind of rough, but the numbers themselves and the two far right columns come for the most part directly out of biennial reports, what we've said we had.
What's the far corner? The
far corner is funds remaining. And those also came out of biennial reports when you look at, okay, and that is meant to be, minus encumbrances. So on the right, so what we had to actually spend.
So in 1991, you started the year with 23.
That's right.
2 million.
That's right.
You ended the year with 11.7.
That's what the biennial report said, yeah.
Okay.
And sometimes I had to do some sleuthing where if I couldn't find, if it didn't mention it, I went to the last board meeting where they talked about their budget.
Yeah.
So the number in the middle column, 157,675.
Yes.
That is the total amount of money that LMF funds have been invested.
Yes, or will be by the end, because that includes that 18 million.
If all current projects closed out, does that include, it doesn't look like it does match.
No, we'll get there though.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get there. It doesn't include set-asides or match. I really don't have a way to track set-asides back 20 years. And so it's kind of worse to do a piecemeal, like, okay, we'll just stick with this paradigm. Sorry, I keep moving the.
But that does give you, you adjusted that from inflation, 23
well,
million.
we can even, I actually did that, Carl, but wait, let me show you the next slide, because all that is what this looks like. So the green is available funds. And the blue is when we've dispersed those funds. And you can see, happily, a very nice correlation between money in and money out. And that's just, all that data from the previous slide is what created this chart. This chart is beloved by people who testify to the legislature. It's gone into a lot of them. So it's a nice flow, you can see. The peaks and the valleys and how much of that bounciness there has been, right? Questions about that? And nice colors too. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. Now, this means through today, this is currently through today, that $457 million number was through through end of fiscal year 2027. This is through today, like the most recently closed project from the beginning of time. We have invested $143,368,559. Match for that same period of time has been this number. Total project costs are our contribution plus match. That's what you do. That's how you get there. And so when you add those two numbers together, you can see that for our $143 million investment, we acquired value of $325,791,039, which is pretty good. And out of that, of course, the point of all this is 660,632 acres that we've protected over time. Now, I did do the present value of the 174 million. I don't know if you want to hear it. I think it's a little confusing, but that may just be me. But it was, and it wasn't perfectly done. The 35 million in 87, 89, I treated that as a slug of money rather than, a trickle, because I wouldn't have been able to do it any other way, really. But I did. It's a really large number. It's not all that different from total project costs. So I don't know if. Part of me is anxious about telling donors, if you hadn't given me that money and you'd held on to it, you'd have you'd have more money. But maybe somebody smarter than I can figure out what you want to do with it. I will share it if you want me to. But,
Well, I think it's just, and that's inflation, right? I mean, it's $1 today is worth less than $1 30 years ago.
Definitely.
And so I think it's good to express that 30-year-old dollars are 3 compared to the $1
Yep.
today.
That is almost exactly what they are.
So $493 an acre.
So I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I tried doing, and of course, that's tricky too. I saw that there was an appreciation of like roughly 3% in real estate. Because the dollar is one thing, but it's the value of the land that matters, right? So that is where
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I even tried, and AI was like, you can't do that, you can't do that. But you can, I mean, you can decide, okay, just what's the per acre value then, and what is that now? And it would certainly be more, but I didn't come up with a number for that.
Mac, I saw you had your hand up. Do you have a question? Or comment?
Sorry, I was just going to share the calculation you did about the cost per acre. It's surprisingly low, even when you consider inflation. Obviously, a fair amount of this was for easements.
Yeah, 493, and because our real estate values, it's not been a steady climb, right? There are these bursts.
Yeah.
So and also because whatever we write will be quoted, so I'm very sensitive to making sure.
Would you mind going back to the previous slides that had the years where money came in?
Sure. Well, there you go.
Okay, so the way that I've done inflation in the past was just take that 1991 value and multiply it times the index of whatever standard index you use.
Yeah.
And then, so you just have you'd have another column that would just say
Right.
1991 value on today's, 2020, 25
Right.
value, and it'd just be something that.
I did actually, I didn't
Okay,
put it up
that's-
here because I was anxious about putting that data out there. I was anxious about it being misused or confusing, but I did do that and I used AI, which was great. Like, oh, tell me the present value of $35 million received in 1987. And it was over $99 million. So there was a lot, and I thought, well, okay, because again, part of me is like, do I want to tell a donor that if you've held on to your money, you'd have a lot of money?
They know that.
Or do I want to, well.
That you're conserving in the now,
Yeah.
but you want to express that, you're conserving in the now, but you're also building on the shoulders of what people have conserved in the past. And what they have conserved in the past is worth a lot more than what it once was.
Okay, so I'm not arguing with you, I'm just saying I had anxiety about putting that out on a slide and being quoted and having to be like, LMF, this is what it would be. And so I did put it in the notes underneath the slide. I've got it, each one, the 35 million, what it would be worth today. They add up to 316 million, 624, 370. Thanks, man.
I think I love data and charts, but I also think from the outside public perspective, like the real tangible take homes are that, LMF, thanks to everyone in the state of Maine, has invested this generous amount of money. But we also have an equal, if not greater amount of money that's been part of this match. So this has been like a real constant community effort.
Yeah.
And I think I would be hesitant to highlight somewhere the number of acres and the price per acre, because as Max said, the level of easements, but also in our discretion to pick properties that might have had higher demand or competition, that's gonna skew. There's so many, I feel like this is it's as much like art and culture as it is science and economics. And I think that's where also having the maps that we've seen in the past of where the properties have been conserved can be helpful in looking at that bigger picture of where development is occurring in the state and why there's been a focus where it is and how this may shift as the state's changing.
Right. A lot of work and a great job. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's fun. I mean, it's fun. I also love data. I am very sensitive to how quickly things that we put out show up in testimony at the legislature. And I wouldn't want to spend a lot of my time at the legislature having to step away from or downplay or it's out there. So Yeah. Yeah, good. I'm glad. Last thing I want to do is be sassy to a board member. Yeah.
It's all meaningful.
Yeah, good, good. So I don't, how many, do we have any other, I think I may have thought you guys saw, was that the last finance slide,
This is
Joe?
the last finance slide.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, any other last questions? All right. Projects
Yes.
to be acted on.
Oh, yes, we have this news here coming up. And there.
All right, this Scott Reservoir access is brought by the town of Brunswick. The public, the Parks and Recreation Director, Tom Farrell's online with us. Should there be any questions, he's available to answer those. This is, has the Settle Mile parcel in green that they will be acquiring in fee, and they will also be placing match lands under the project agreement that they currently own. So 77 total acres, 45 acres is the Settlemyre, the green parcel, 32 acres is town-owned land along the shore. Petitescott Dam, I think you can see it there. There's a recreation area right there. And the property is accessible both from River Road and from the recreation area. All 77 acres will be encumbered with a project agreement. And this is a significant block of conserved lands in the town. That's been a focus of theirs to put this land in conservation, and it's a beautiful spot. So we have 3 appraisals. One is for the Settlemyre fee acquisition, and we have 2 appraisals for the match lands. We met the Settlemyre appraisal, the appraisal committee met on April 29th and accepted the reported value of $515,000 for that property. On August 14th, I presented the two match parcel appraisals, and which were accepted by the appraisal oversight committee for $200,000 and $165,000. So that total was $880,000 for the 3 appraisals. And a draft motion for the board to consider.
So that motion is to accept the recommendation for the property plus the match.
Correct.
Yes, that'd be great.
To approve the recommendation of the LMF Appraisal Oversight Committee and accept the appraiser's total value of $880,000.
So that is committee recommendation, so it doesn't need a second. Any questions? Discussion before we vote? Not seeing any. All those in favor? Aye. All right, motion carries. Thank you.
Announcement of public notice was advertised in the Portland Press Herald on August 23rd, and no comments were received. Draft motion for the board to consider for the allocation of funds for this project.
I move we confirm the allocation of $357,500 in LMF water access funding to support the acquisition, subject to standard conditions.
Second. Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing any. All those in favor? Unanimous? Great.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, so this is a proposal from the town of Cushing, and thank you to Danny Staples and Austin Donaghy for being here today, who I'm sure can answer any questions we have as they come up. This is a water access proposal in Cushing for in Pleasant Point Gut. The photo on the left is sort of a harbor view of Cushing, and the photo on the right is on the property itself, looking down towards the water. And so here you can see just the general location of the property in the southern part of Cushing, right in Pleasant Point Gut, which leads out to regional waters from there. The photo on the left shows the pier that will be removed and a public boat launch installed there. Also the building on the far right, and Austin and Danny, please correct me if I'm wrong here. The building on the far right is the shed that will also be removed.
Correct, yes.
Great. So the town is going to purchase 2 adjacent acres, which are total about an acre, 2 adjacent properties, which total about 1.5 acres on Barnacle Lane. This would provide the first and only public access to the Cushing shoreline and will include the removal of an existing residence shed and pier, which are in poor condition, and creation of a parking lot and boat launch for both commercial and recreational boats.
So before you go on, is anybody living in the residence?
Right now, yes, there is, and they requested to be able to stay there until June 1st. They have another house in town that they're getting livable.
But you're buying it from them, not taking it by eminent domain or?
Purchase.
Okay, and again, this is a highly desirable location for both private development and maritime activities. This project would not require a change of use. It is currently zoned commercial fishing and maritime activities. Siting the boat launch will have minimal impact on the shoreline. And just to note that Maine Natural Areas Program indicated the property is adjacent to tidal waterfowl and wading bird habitat. And this is just an overview of the costs to purchase both of the lots. The total value is $730,000. The town of Cushing, both through its public water access funds that it started, I believe that started about 20 years ago.
About 20 years ago.
Yeah. And some undesignated funds is able to come up with half of that, or $365,000. So the LMF funding request is for the other half, $365,000. And this is the draft motion.
I move we accept the town of Cushing public water access Pleasant Point Gut proposal as a finalist for the preliminary allocation of $365,000, subject to standard LMF conditions.
Second, all right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Got a couple quick questions for guests today. Danny, you've been squirreling away money for 20 years.
Yeah.
Were there other properties that you guys passed on in the last 20 years or
We
had to
didn't
pass on?
they passed on us. We had a nice place down on the end of Stones Point Road, Henderson Lane. I think you're familiar with the area.
Yeah.
I've been down there several times. And that was kind of bought out under us.
Yeah.
And that's what you're fighting to do, projects like this. This is a very desirable piece of property, could easily go for a lot more than what it's going for.
Yeah. And there's going to be a boat ramp. Do you have funds for the boat ramp and the construction, or this is just for the acquisition?
This is for the acquisition. We plan on writing more grants and,
We also,
this is also subject to town approval, but you all know that.
the idea is to continue the allocation, the annual allocation of monies that we were squirreling away, to use your term, to be for future maintenance and improvement and the actual construction.
About 20,000 a year. We could up that too with a little twist of the arms.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great opportunity for the town
Oh, yeah, it's
and the area.
236 years in the process.
I absolutely agree. It's a great opportunity and you should definitely, you need to have public access. My only question was also on the house, where there's such, affordable housing is so difficult, especially for working waterfront, for people to be able to live where they work. Is there no way that the house could be refurbished or made livable for someone that could afford to live there?
That's possible, but they couldn't afford to buy it.
Yes.
That's the issue.
Yeah.
I also am on the planning board.
Yeah.
So it could never be a multiple dwelling by the
Yeah.
Shoreline Zone Act we have in place.
Mhm.
So there's very little opportunity for it to be used for a low-income housing.
Mhm.
And just as an aside, on the planning board, we're mindful of
Removing affordable housing.
of LDF 2000 or wherever it was and so on. And, changed our shoreline zoning to
Yeah.
allow multiple residents where possible. But honestly, as Danny pointed out, this is a very desirable piece of land and on the open market would go for well over $1 million.
Yeah.
And the roof right now is like about a 3-foot swell, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Among other things with the property.
Construction is
Yeah.
incredibly expensive as
Yes.
well, so.
Yeah.
And it has a rock wall,
Foundation.
foundation stuff, so it's an old piece of property.
Yeah.
Any other questions from the board? Well, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of accepting the town of Cushing's public water access project? Amanda, yep, looks unanimous. Great, congratulations.
Thank you. I'd encourage anybody to come down. I'd really love to see you down there.
Yeah.
I've
Thank
had
you.
Cal down there a couple of times over the last 20, 30 years.
It's 3 o'clock in the morning.
Bring your flashlight.
Great. All right, next up.
All right. This is, White's Marsh Brook, Tim Smith and Zoe, I forget your last name, Zoe. Foster, Zoe Foster from Great Works Regional Land Trust are here if you have any questions following the presentation. This White's Marsh Brook in South Berwick. And also Flora is here from Department of Fish and Wildlife, who will be the sponsor. Upland forest, wetlands, vernal pools. It's documented habitat for blandings. That's spotted turtles and also habitat suitable for New England cottontail. It's in proximity to conserved lands, Fish and Wildlife, York Land Trust, Great Works Land Trust, Kittery Water District, Nature Conservancy. It's a huge area that's just incredibly diverse habitat and well documented and known in this area. On August 14th, the Appraisal Oversight Committee met to discuss the appraisal and accepted the reported value of $475,000. And we have a draft motion for the board to consider.
Is there a motion?
I move to approve the recommendation of the LMF Appraisal Oversight Committee and accept the appraiser's value of $475,000.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor? All right, unanimous. Excellent.
Public notice for White's Marsh Brook was advertised for the Press Herald on August 23rd, and no comments were received. Draft motion for the board to consider.
I move we confirm the allocation of $187,000 in LMF conservation and recreation funding to support the acquisition subject to standard conditions.
All right, motion and a second, any discussion? All those in favor? Great, unanimous, yeah. Cranking through here today,
Thank you.
right,
Thank you.
Pleasant River,
Yep, so we have received a request from Pleasant River Wildlife Foundation to transfer 3 LMF funded properties to Down East Coastal Conservancy. Pleasant River Wildlife Foundation is winding down as a land holding organization, and these will be the last of their holdings that they're transferring out. You see them on the map there in Addison. Actually, on the left-hand side, that's Merritt Cove, and only the coastal parcel is the LMF funded. The inland parcels are going to be transferred with it, but they don't have LMF funding. IFNW is the agency sponsor on all of these, and in support of this, the support letter that's in your board packet had a list of some of the conditions that we would be looking to have met before that takes place. And as staff and council dig into it, we will continue to update that list. So the project agreement on these allows transfer with board approval, and we have a draft motion here for you.
I move we approve the transfer and authorize the board chair to sign the consent order and other documentation required to effectuate the requested transfer, subject to all necessary conditions.
all right, motion and a second, any discussion, questions? Seeing any, all those in favor? Good,
How do, just a question around this transfers, does LMF track all these transfers, or is it in covenants that they have to report back here if they're transferring? How does
They
that
have to report back here, we track them, they have ongoing annual reporting requirements, so they have to this gets documented in our record keeping, but now it's with this other place. And they take, obviously, subject to all the same requirements in the original project agreement. And the project agreement, of course, is recorded, so it's of record. And this allows for when the deed is transferred, when the deeds are transferred, this sort of carries everything forward for anybody looking at the title. So outside world can see it too, but we keep track inside. Anything else you think we ought to add to that, Jason?
No, I think the annual reporting is the thing that every year, everybody who owns LMF funded property sends us a report. And obviously we know who we need to get the report from.
Yeah.
does it happen often, the transfers?
But 4 or 5 times maybe?
We just did one, just recently with Haystack Mountain.
Yeah. This one, that was a single project. This
Single
is
project,
an entire,
All our.
yeah. I can think of 4 or 5 projects. I can't think
It's
of.
happened a few times. We did one with an earlier one with Pleasant River, the Mason Bay properties. I think it tends to happen mostly in the context of sort of organizational changes within the land trust community. Like I said, the Pleasant River is kind of winding down as a land holding organization. That and different mergers or changes in sort of service area.
Yeah. I know,
Cases where it happens.
there's a water access in the Eddington, and I can't remember the other town, they're like 2 halves of it. Oh, Arno, yeah, there you go. And those originally, I think, were Seven Lakes, I think, there was somebody else, I can't remember who they were. That we funded the land trust, and the land trust then transferred the disparate interests to the town, and they had to go through this then too.
Gotcha.
It isn't commonplace, it has happened multiple times. I would not call it, we don't do it one every year, we suddenly have done 2 in less than 12 months, but like, we don't.
So the requirement for annual reporting, how onerous is that for the recipients?
I think not terribly onerous. Now that's for me. It's a pretty straightforward form. It's going to get more onerous with the stewardship reporting that will happen. It'll be more onerous for us because currently annual reporting we sort of are the administrative framework for it. And we send out the notices and we create the forms, but it's the DSAs who are really reviewing these and monitoring them for compliance. This is part of their job, is being DSAs, and it's a much heavier haul for the DSAs than LMF. For the land trust, I think it's not a complicated form. And most of them are doing their own, annual monitoring anyway. What we require of them is a fraction of what they would do internally, most of them. The stewardship is going to be more for that, and we as LMF will need to be looking at this differently. We'll have to be reviewing that. That won't be our DSAs checking stewardship compliance. So I don't think it's terribly onerous. It's annual. And it's a 1-page sheet, no, a 2-page sheet. I would say it's a 2-page sheet with pretty basic questions that center around, has anything changed? You're still doing what you're supposed to do? Are you doing anything you're not supposed to do? It's really pretty, Flora, you have a different, yeah.
No, I think maybe just tracking, it's more like a communication challenge that I think would be fine.
Yes, and Julia has done, with Flora set up a really good database tool to help us do this more automatically, and Julia has picked that up. So for us and for them, I think it's easier. We've moved to online. It used to be, you didn't ask all this question, you didn't ask all this, but it used to be all paper. And that was a pain for land trust to have to be like printing, mailing, that. And so now it's online. We put the form on the web. It's easy for them to find. It's easy for them to, remember. And then Julia sends out reminders too. So it's just really, it should be, for a land trust that's already doing their job to do the stewardship and the custodial and the review of their lands, it should be kind of a not that big a deal administratively. Mm-hmm. And now that I've said that, I'm sure I will hear from people who like, what, but I think it's not that big a deal. You have a different sense, Jason? Or Laura?
No, I think that's exactly right.
I've lost track. Did we vote on that?
Yes.
Yes, good.
Somebody forgot to shut their phone.
Those people from Cushing.
John. On to access improvement grants. We have 2 requests for you this month. Keysar River South, $25,000 for trailheads and gates to control traffic on interior roads. And Salmon Falls, $25,000 for trailheads and trails. We've reviewed these at the staff level. They've gone to DSA for review as well. They meet all the requirements, and we have a draft motion for you there.
I move we award access improvement funding in the amount of $25,000 to Greater Level Land Trust for the Keysar River South project and $25,000 to Great Works Regional Land Trust for the Salmon Falls Tidal Wetlands project, subject to standard conditions.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? All right, Amanda concur. Excellent. Wow.
Staff
updates.
All right. Well, you've met Erin. I was derelict in my duty to introduce her at the beginning. Erin Lloyd is officially on board. She is our newest. Her portfolio is going to be primarily working waterfront, this and coastal. So this is water access, not working waterfront for the town of Cushing, but it's certainly coastal. And we're really excited about welcoming Erin to the team. And I wanted to give you a brief update on the scoring committee facilitator and selection process. We have a facilitator. I'm really excited about this, Paul Botticello. This was, it's going to be wonderful. He's excited, I'm excited. There are invites out to all of the private citizens who we've sort of identified as good. That's not all nailed down yet. We have almost all nailed down. And so I'll be able to report back on the final composition next time. And also, Paul Botticello and I have agreed to define fall is between today and 12/31/2025. This is how we're defining fall. So, yeah, but our target is to, begin to, he and I start meeting October to be like really planning this and pulling together and getting it going. And we're still thinking 3 meetings, maybe 4 will be what it takes to do this. So it's exciting, it's coming along. Oh, and thanks to Jason, we are one LMS staff person a submission for, I hope I don't embarrass you, Jason, for a proposed framework for the group to consider. So we were like, we're halfway there. I'm not done with mine yet, but, well, I should say mine, it's not mine and Jason's. Jason has done the maximum discretion model, I'm doing a middle discretion model, and these are the idea is for these to be, to help, sort of, help everybody think about, thank you, thanks. And next time, Catherine and I will report on working for us, we promise. We keep this a teaser, we keep promising.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That concludes our agenda.
Boom.
Excellent.
When there are the upcoming meetings. And I will take a motion to adjourn.
I will adjourn.
Second that, all in favor? I think this is a record.
Yes, I do too.
Well done, Judy.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
That was with a lengthy conversation about that.